Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Today's new tool day, I picked up this Makita angle grinder. It's a 5-inch grinder. It's not the normal 4-inch one-hand models. She's got a bit more oomph to her. She's got a little bit of thicker thighs or something like that. Let's unbox and see what we're getting out of this. Look at this. The box is printed upside down and then right side up, or is it just printed all? Oh, it's printed all the way around the same. No, it's not. Any case, just your normal warnings. Fit the guard before use. Read and close instructions to reduce risk of injuries. Always use guards and eye protection. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we know. We're all responsible for our own safety. So first up, opening it up. I did not know this, that they actually send you disc with it. This is a 125 by 6 by 22.23 to 22.23, the arbor size grinding disc. It's not a cutter, it's a grinder, and it says inox stainless, tra la 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 la. So it's steel. I actually bought one, but nonetheless, now we've got one on the shelf. So arbor size 7/8, and maximum speed 12,250 RPM. 12,250. That's the same as the little one-hand grinder. Here's my little Arendorf Macafreak Special, and it's running 11,800 RPM. So yeah, it's actually, I think I wonder if it will fit. If it's gonna be just. But we might try this. I'll be the guinea pig and hurt myself, so you don't have to. There we go. If anyone wanted to see, the model is a model GA5010. Yeah, this is a GA5010. 5 inch. It's not a 6 inch. It's a 5-inch grinder. Somewhere I read that the G series from Makita is like the, I won't say DIY, but the prosumer, not the professional series. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any dope on that. It says double insulation. So what double insulation means is, let's have a look at the plug. Double insulation is supposed to be that the casing is made out of insulating material and that you have a ground on it, if I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly look it up. Okay, so I had the cat by its nuts. Double insulated means that both the casing, it's doubly insulated between the electrical cables and where you can touch on it. That's what the interweb says, for what it's worth. Don't trust me, I'm just a fool making a video. But normally that will be then the casing, which will be plastic, as well as the cables will be insulated as well. So you won't have any open cables on the inside. We'll see about that. We'll open it up and have a look. But yeah, it says double insulated. I don't know, I'm not blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Let's get into it. Now this is probably the worst thing that they can do, is these 2-prong plugs. Absolute ball ache, because what happens is somewhere along the line either this one bends and doesn't connect anymore, or your little 2-pin adapter bends and doesn't connect anymore. This one, and they're always cast on, so you have to cut them off and then you void your warranty. So I'll see about what I do there, but normally I just cut them off and put a standard 3-point plug on there. A rubber plug top, nonetheless. When you replace stuff, don't use that plastic stuff. You put a rubber one on. I can't tell you how many times I've stepped on the plug in a work scenario where it's been lying on the ground and you turn around and you step on the plug and those plastic plugs just explode into a million pieces. This one, I don't know, let's zoom you in here a bit. This one is actually cast a little bit skew. You can see the prongs go one way and then the plug goes the other. It's probably just how the clamshell meets when they cast it in. Nonetheless, is what it is. I actually did not expect a 3-point plug. work on this. So, but nonetheless, the cable is a nice and soft cable. I must be honest with you. This piece of cap tire, it's a 2 by 1 square millimeter cover cable. Nice and soft, so that means that it doesn't pull on your hands that much. Nice. I must be honest, I really like this. Let's get it out. Just the little handle that is made out of polypropylene. It says PP, so it's polypropylene. What can you say? It's a grinder handle. Then we've got the guard. Now, wow, what's happening here? This looks too fancy. What's happening here? Do you want to tell me that I am going to have to read the instruction manual for it? Why would you have a guard with a guard on top of it? Okay guys, you've got me. I'm gonna have to get back to the manual and see what this is for. I've never seen this in my life. Look at that. Unbelievable. So what is the cutting thing now? Gents, I am absolutely dumbstruck on this. Okay, right. I know what this is for. I've honestly didn't know that you get a cut-off wheel guard and a grinding wheel guard. Today I've learned something. So, all my grinders has only got one guard, which would then be a grinding guard. So if we get back to, let me zoom it out here. If we get back out here, this is my little 4-inch grinder. This guard is supposed to be a grinding guard because it's open on this side. Like that one is the grinding guard. And then for cutting operations you put this one in here so that you can't get your fingy in there. Gentlemen, if you are working anywhere close to this thing when this thing is running at 11,000 RPM, you should not be using a angle grinder. End of story. This was probably thought out by some guy on a mine. Some safety officer on the mine probably said, hey, someone can get his fingy in there, so let's get another guard for it. Do you think it's the safety guys that think this shit out? Or do you think that it's actually the manufacturers trying to sell you something else? This one is included in the price, so I don't know. Let me know. Yeah, in any case, that's the guard with the cut-off guard. I've learned something today. And finally, we into the grinder. She really doesn't look too bad, gentlemen. I like the fact that it has a pistol grip like your big 9-inch grinder, but it's not as hefty as a 9-inch grinder. She is 1050 watt at 12,000 RPM, 230 volts. Blah 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 blah. M14 standard M14 thread on the arbor. Makita Corporation, Anjo, blah blah blah, Japan, made in China. I almost got excited when they said Japan and then made in China. Okay, but it is what it is. But first off, it doesn't look like a bad deal. Honestly, guys, it does not look like a bad deal. She's fairly scooping, but she is still as small in terms of getting into places. I honestly thought that the head might be a bit bulky and you won't be able to get into corners and stuff. But she is no bigger than my 4-inch model. I am liking this. I am honestly liking this. Got the little pin for releasing the the arbor nut, nice thick screws in here. Another nice feature on this is that you can actually replace the brushes on it. You can just take a screwdriver out and get into it. We will dive into her still, but let's test it out quickly. The housing is made of a PA6, so it's a nylon basically, a fake nylon, but it's got the same properties as nylon. PA6 glass fiber reinforced 30%. The whole handle. Then it's got the rubber TPE. What does TPE stand for? What? But it's got the TPE overmold on it. There you can see the we'll get into it. I don't know if that's a switch or just a pin where they knock it out of the mold. But it fits together nicely. It's not janky in any way that I can see. The seams are very close together. If you look at how they put it together, they put a little high spot in there, which is great because when you put it down on your workbench, let's get the box out of the way and we can start having a chat about this thing. I'm nerding out here. And then just a little flat spanner for the arbor. So what we've got is you see it's got a little, they actually cast it in a little bit of a hump in there, a little camelback in there. So when you put it down, I mean obviously when you put down your grinder, you put it down facing up. It actually only rests on that little piece and then on the metal there. Very nice. I think there's a couple of small things that I really like on this machine. Let's open it up and see what's inside. So you take out the brushes. The brushes are actually nice thick square brushes. By the looks of it, doesn't look like pure copper brush holders, but it's it'll be plated. It'll be steel that's plated. That's copper plated. Okay, so like I said, PA6 glass fiber reinforced 30% glass fiber in there, with the TPE overmolding. There you can just see the little pins that they do the second casting when they do the TPE. The mold doesn't look very old. No real grinding marks. You can see the pins where the ejection pins sit in the mold, but all in all I think this is a fairly new mold by the looks of it. There's no weird grinding marks where they already had to get into it. Doesn't look too bad. The vents have got like a little louver section. I don't know if you can see there, but you can't really see through it. So it's got the vent and then a little vent that's in its way. It just keeps some of the big particles out. Nice strain relief, very nice strain relief. And this is the double insulation that they talk about. As you can see, all the cables are fully insulated again. Nice positive snap action on the switch, really nice. You won't be wondering if it's running or not. Very interestingly, there is a space for a little button that keeps it on. So that is actually going to be a bit of a ball ache. Let me think about this. That's going to be an absolute ball ache. First negative of this, and that is why what this hole should have been the little button that you can press and lock it in the on position. Now I know in a lot of the mines and stuff nowadays they absolutely forbid you to have a tool that can stay on while it's not in your hands, and that's probably where this comes from. Absolute ball ache. This little 4-inch grinder, you put it on and it runs. to keep my finger on the trigger. My big 9-inch DeWalt 9-inch grinder, same story. It's the same trigger type of mechanism as this one, but you can depress it and lock it in place and it stays on. This one you can't. If you don't have your finger on the trigger, pressed on the trigger, you will it will not run. That puts you, if you're gonna run this thing for any extended amount of time, that's gonna be the one that fatigues you. That's the first negative I've got on this grinder, is where's the little button that I can put it on and leave it running. Now I'm thinking my 9-inch grinder, it's actually a dead man switch. You have to press it before the handle goes in, but nonetheless, that's a bollock. I would like this to be where you can put it on, lock it in place, have it running, and then you can work it. Guys, yeah. Why are all the people thinking that all tradesmen are snowflakes? Or is it, are we catering for the idiot in his home shop like me, and not the guy on site that actually has to work this thing? Nonetheless, let's get into it. Let's get into the rest of it. Wire goes through from the switch into the motor. Let's open up the motor side. Okay, this is also a nice little feature. The screws holding the gearbox onto the motor is bigger than the normal one, so they actually thought about it a bit and put some beef in. Come on, let's see if we can get it apart. Oops, there we go. Okay, so this is the armature. As you can see, this is where they grind it out to balance it. Nice thick goop on here to keep the wires in place. Then what happens if you don't? Oops. What happens is, if you don't have all of this glued together decently, it actually vibrates the wires loose, and they tend to break off here on the what is this? Combar. Got a 608 RT bearing. I think, guys, let me know in the thing below. 608, is that a skateboard bearing? I am almost 100% sure that the 608 is a standard skateboard bearing, off the shelf item, nothing weird. Plastic seal, not a steel seal bearing, but it's got a little dust cap on the back, and then that fits into the housing where the field coil sits and the brush holders. And then it's got a little fan on this side. I'm not going to pull this one out, but we will take this one up. Doesn't look bad, really doesn't look bad. Nice beefy bearing. What's that? I think 608 is 8mm internal diameter. Let's open up and see the gearbox inside. Gearbox housing is looks like aluminium. It says AL, so yes, definitely aluminium. It's a sintered metal component, so it's not cast. They've got powdered aluminum. Put it in a mold, heat it up, add a couple of spices to it, and then it sets in that fashion. Whoops, let's not lose a screw here. There we go. Funny color grease inside here, but nonetheless, this is the most grease that I've ever seen in a so we've got the crown wheel, they are steel, the pinion steel, that's bolted onto the armature with a little locking pin on there. It's got a little O-ring seal in there, so that if this thing gets hot, it will, well, if it cooks the grease, it won't run out the end. Must be honest with you, the finish on this is really not bad. I am impressed. I am really impressed. Nonetheless, let's get it back together again. Don't know what the size of this bearing is. So we've got a fairly Spook them. Come on. Should have done this while we could press the pin in, but maybe we can still press the pin in. There we go. Okay, we'll do it once we've got it back together. So we've got a decent bearing in here and a very small one at the back. So the one at the back just sits in the housing and basically just make sure that the crown wheel and the pinion meshes up, that they sit together. So let's get it together, run her, and see what we've got. Build quality, I still paid a arm and a dick for it, but the build quality is not bad. I must be honest with you. I am okay with what I'm seeing. Let me get a cutting disc for it and I'll get you outside. I've got a 44-gallon drum that I need to split in half for a new grill, so let's test it out on that. Okay gents, so for splitting the drum I'm gonna use the weld seam as the one line to split it on, and then we're gonna divide it in half. Now the easiest way to do that is take a piece of string or wire. I tend to use wire because it doesn't stretch as much, and just start running it around the edge. Not going to be 100%, but you're going to be fairly close. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my little marker and make a mark on the table, and now take this piece of cable and we divide it by 2, which is easy. You can either measure it or you can just say, you know what. So there's a mark from the one side, and now we start from the other end. And as you can see, we've run a little bit over, so either I've stretched it in the other direction or made some of the dash with it. So that is the 2 lines. So I'll be aiming for the center of these 2, give and take. It'll be close enough for what we want to do. Okay everybody, we're going to cut up the weld drum. I've made a little extension for tools like this. You know, if I forget to buy a plug, and I can use this stuff. Works for the lawnmower, etc., etc., and then we can just plug it in. When you first start off a new tool, always don't look at it. Look away. If something explodes in your face, then at least your face is out of the way. So, but let's see. Got a funny feel to it, sort of in between size. It's not your 9-inch grinder where you feel, okay, right now I've got to hold on to this thing, but it's not the little 4-inch one that you can use on one hand. Gentlemen, I am impressed with this little grinder. I think this is going to probably become one of my favorites very, very soon. Let's see if we can drain the oil out of here. And there we go. What I'm going to do is get a little flap wheel and just polish the edges off quickly. Now I've only got a normal 4-inch flap disc in here. Okay gentlemen, so there we are. I'll be using this Makita quite a lot still. I think it was definitely worth it. Nice shape, nice size, fits well, works like a charm. You can actually feel that the motor is much more powerful than the normal 1 and 4-inch one. So I'll definitely be putting it through its paces. If you've made it thus far, thanks for watching. As always, please rate, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay safe.